The 2026 fiscal report from the Federal Reserve Center for Microeconomic Data is out, and the numbers are not good. Y'all been spending too much money. We're going to talk about how American average consumers has reached a new all-time high for high interest credit card debt, the habits that are keeping you poor, but more importantly, how to reset, refocus, and rework your personal capital decision engine. Roll the intro. Welcome to Supply Demand. If you're new here, my name is Julian Scott, supply chain strategist with almost 2 decades of experience in supply chain design, execution, and planning. I have a master's in project management and have delivered value for some of the largest Fortune 50 companies here in the United States. I make content focused on finance and culture, weaving in business fundamentals and strategy to help you think more like a strategist, transforming your future vision into a reality. Hit the subscribe button and don't forget that noti bell so you never miss another video. Let's get into it. Now, consumer debt has been on the rise for quite some time. I mean, really since the 2019 health crisis, things have been going up and people have been spending more money. But with the introduction of more flexible buy now, pay later mechanisms, changes in job market uncertainty, people are spending. I mean, spending is absolutely ballooning. Taking a look here at the report, even just from TransUnion, the average American is now holding $6,715 in high interest credit card debt. Now, if you are in your early 20s, mid 40s, you really need to understand this is not just simply about borrowing money. This is a representation of a systematic breakdown in your personal supply chain, your capital flow of money. When your debt to income ratio becomes off, there is a point here where you lose access. You absolutely lose access to your future and the things that you're supposed to be going for, your goals and your aspirations, because you're going to need to spend time getting that monkey off your back, digging out that hole and getting rid of all of this debt so you can move forward more effectively. The good news is this $6,715 number, or however much consumer debt you may be dealing with personally, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of everything. This is just a representation of a simple process failure, a breakdown. And in the world of supply chain, we have process issues all the time. The important thing to do here is look for the source of the problem, where things are actually breaking, and reverse engineer a solution. Work backwards to see how we can implement a plan that will consistently work for us as we move forward into the future. So with that being said, let's take a look at the top habits that might be holding you back and figure out the right plan to move forward to get us out of this debt spiral. All right, the first thing, manual overrides, the automation leak. You know, if you are still manually figuring out every single month where your money is supposed to go, what bills are supposed to be paid, what investments, if any, are supposed to be made, you already lost the game. You know, like it or not, human error is the highest risk factor in any supply chain. That is why, according to business automation statistics, in 2004, approximately 60% of companies had implemented automation in at least one business process, with projections of reaching 85% by 2029 for broader adoption. Not automating where your money is going is introducing risk of allocating it into the wrong places. You really need to just set up a simple system to set it and forget it. Personally, with my brokerage account, I have the money actually break away from my paycheck before I even see it. So before it even hits my personal bank account, it's already rerouted into my brokerage account. That way it's ready for me to go in and allocate to whatever investments I wanted to have. The money is already spent. It's already assigned and where it needs to go before I even see it, touch it, and had the opportunity to fumble in the bag, honestly. So we want to introduce automation into our process. No more manual processes. No more us deciding, oh, we're going to spend on the bills and whatever's left at the end of the month. No. We need to set it and forget it. Automatically allocate that money, even if it's a low amount. Build that muscle. Start with $5, $10, then move up to $50 and $100 each week, each month. And then you get to those bigger numbers as you get more comfortable and figure out, oh, wow, I really didn't need that amount like I thought I did. I just was finding ways to spend it. Automate the process. Without access to the right information and being surrounded by people on the same mission as you, it can be quite difficult to get rid of those bad habits that lead us to debt traps like high credit card debt. That is exactly why I built the Skeleton Crew, Supply Demand's private membership platform. A skeleton crew isn't about being understaffed or not having the right resources. It's actually quite the opposite. A skeleton crew in supply chain is about having the most essential people required to keep a massive operation running. Not any extras, not any hanger-oners or passengers, but builders, highly skilled operators who know exactly what levers to pull to get things done. And that is exactly the type of community that we are building. Our membership isn't about nickel and diming people to say, buy our latest finance course, buy our latest this and that. No, this is about giving you access to the blueprints and the systems and strategies you need to solve the issues we are discussing today. Are you having a problem with high interest credit card debt? A lot of people are. But look, inside the Skeleton Crew, we have AI-powered tools that get you exactly what you need to master your monthly budget, to get your strike plan together to tackle that high-interest credit card debt. If you want to move from being a consumer to a true architect of your life success, hit the link in the description or check us out directly at supply-demand.live and get access to the Skeleton Crew. Take advantage right now of our early adopter rate and go ahead and jump right in and join the crew. With that being said, back to the video. All right, our next one here, mismanaged velocity, the spender's paradox. Okay, so listen close right here, because what I'm about to say might throw some of y'all off a little bit. You might be like, what? Being a spender, I mean, swiping and spending and all of that, right? It's actually a high level skill. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you, being able to actually aggressively allocate money is actually a good thing. I want to take a second to talk about procurement cycles. You know, procurement cycles are structured sequences of activities in an organization that are used to obtain goods and services effectively. Your spending actually proves that you know how to identify needs and allocate resources, which is great. The bad part is it's a misallocation. The targeting isn't quite right, okay? The needs that you are identifying might really not be the right things. And then we need to refocus some of those things. The good news here is you already got the muscle. You already know how to spend. We just need to target differently on what we are spending on. Instead of going to the mall, let's shop those stocks. Instead of going and buying, you know, those extra things that you may not really need off of Amazon, getting them brown boxes at your door, let's find some funds that we can go ahead and put this money in. Let's look at VOO. Let's look at VTI. Let's look at AMZN. Let's look at GOO. Let's look at different things. And it really feels like you shopping. You going out there, and the difference here is like we are not targeting depreciable assets anymore. We're now targeting appreciable assets. And now when I'm spending and I'm shopping and I'm swiping, I'm buying things that are actually going to help me out in the future, not hold me back. Spend that money. Do it. Swipe it. Just swipe it on the right stuff. Okay, number 3, passion, chaos. All right, look. In a functional warehouse, everything has a process or priority code. Not, you know, we don't just say that the inbound process and the outbound process are exactly even with one another at all times of the day. We don't just say when there's an emergency situation that we treat it the same way if someone's injured and they are hit by a forklift, the same way as if they got a paper cut in the mailroom, right? We want to identify ways to say this thing is urgent and needs an immediate action to be taken. And this is something we just want to watch out and monitor, but it's still important. A lot of you all are treating your passions with the same priority codes. Everything is code red and we need to do it all at the same time. Instead, we need to figure out a system and a way to stack rank those things and then say these top 1, 2, or 3 is non-negotiable. I have to do this. I have to take this family vacation. I have to have this nice car. I have to have this nice apartment. But that means that those other things, those nice clothes, that nice jewelry, that nice, whatever, fill in the blank, it doesn't happen. It has to be moved to the back of the line. And in a lot of cases, depending on where you are, it has to completely be removed from the list. Let's talk about number 4, hoarding versus multiplying. Now I'm gonna pull something up on the screen here, and I really want you all to take a look at this schematic that we got put together and look at the difference between the hoarding path and the multiplication path, right? When you hoard money, it enters that static container, that shoebox, that savings account that you have, and it just sits there. Even if you have a high yield savings, some of you have that, became really popular the last couple of years. Like, I'm putting my high yield savings, I'm putting all the money in my high yield savings. Unfortunately, the yields just aren't high enough because they don't offset the interest rates that come with the high consumer debt that you have. It doesn't make sense if your high yield savings account is kicking off 5%, even 3%, 4%, and you've got consumer debt that's charging you 29%, 27%, 23%, right? You're actually losing points at that point. It is not a point of arbitrage, right? And so we don't want our money to just sit. That's dead inventory right there. That's like having a whole bunch of stuff in your back room. It needs to be on the shelf if you want people to buy it. They need to see it's available. It don't matter if you put a bunch of stuff on your online store. If you didn't set the quantity of that inventory, it's going to show sold out when people go to shop it. And now you're missing sales. You're missing opportunity. You are missing opportunity in your personal financial life. Your capital decision engine is stalled out right here because you're locking up the capital and it's not being able to do what it needs to do, which is multiply for you and compound for you. When we take a look at that multiplication path, we have choice. You have a bunch of different ways you can move the money. Money likes to flow. It likes to be moved, and we want to keep money in that flow state. We need to move it as the thing that it really is. It's an asset. Assets need to move and transfer their value because all the paper dollar is, all that number in your bank account, it's a representation of stored value. We need to move that stored value and transition it into another vehicle where it can gain and increase on top of itself. And that's what we call compounding. So whether that's in the stock market, whether that's in something you feel a little safer with, like a certificate of deposit, go to your bank and check out something like that, whether it's in an index fund, something that is linked up and matching a specific sector of the economy, or as simple as following the S&P 500, you need to take the money and move it. It should not just sit simply within a savings mechanism. It needs to go somewhere where the interest can earn interest and compound on top of itself. Keep the money in that flow state. It's like water or electricity. If it stops moving, it's stagnant and it's no longer worth anything. And in fact, due to inflationary pressures, it's actually going to be losing money. Number 5, the silent partner. Okay. When you're born, the day you come into this planet, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, you are entering into a business agreement. I know it's weird, right, to even think about it that way, but it is. Every single person here in the United States is entering into a partnership with the government. You become a taxable interest for them. But the thing is this, it really is a partnership. It is not a one-way relationship like a lot of us treat it. And a lot of us are actually paying what I like to call a cluelessness tax, because you are not aware of the authority and the power that you actually do have as a partner with the government. You're paying more money in taxes every year than people who do know they are in this relationship. So what does this actually mean, right? You've probably heard it, man, the rich keep getting richer and the poor stay poorer and all of these different kind of cliches. But what does this really mean, right? Businesses have an effective tax rate that is a lot lower than people as individuals. Why? The things that you and I do as everyday activities, going to get lunch, going to travel, going to maybe even do a leisure activity, for businesses can actually become expenses that they can write off to offset their taxable income, and thus offsetting your adjusted gross income, what you actually pay taxes on. You are in that relationship whether you like it or not. So you might as well take advantage of it. Stop being the silent partner and participate in the system. So what does that mean? I mean, start a business. And right, we got to make sure we do it the right way. So you might need to find some partners and some people to work with and talk with. You might want to consider jumping on in the Skeleton Crew, get with the right people and getting some information about that as well. But the simplest way to kind of explain it is that when you set up an LLC, when you set up a partnership, maybe you and a couple people, when you set up a corporation or an S corporation, it enters you into a separate taxation process. And now we have the ability to divide out and distribute the way the income is assigned to you as an individual. And so when we have that, we can take advantage of things like expenses. We can make sure our accounting and our bookkeeping is right. And we can take things like meals taken to address specific that went along with specific business meetings that we were having, strategy sessions that we're having. And now that lunch and that dinner that you went to, maybe it's a client meeting that you went on or a sales thing, or maybe it's just getting the team together to talk about the next moves that we're making. Now that meal becomes an expense and something that we can write off. Now that camera that you bought, you wanted to go flick it up at Disney World, take some fresh pictures with the family. Hey, maybe we can figure out how do we leverage this camera actually to take pictures of our products, make videos of some examples of the services that we are offering. And now this can become something that's expensible. Obviously, you want to work with a tax professional when you get into things like this. Of course, there's information that we can go a lot deeper on. Check out the Skeleton Crew link in the description as well on the topic. But the most important thing is first acknowledging I am in a relationship with the government that is not a one-way thing. You are an active participant in this business that is America, and you need to start acting like it. Lowering your tax burden each year can give you back, 4 figures, 5 figures, in some cases 6 figures for those who are really up there in income. That makes a world of difference in the things that you are able to do and to take advantage of. Maybe there's debt you've been hanging on to that might actually be equal to your tax bill that possibly could be offset if we could figure out how to take some of the regular everyday things you're doing and transfer those things and convert them into actual legitimate business expenses. It's really important that I stress when you start a business, the goal of the business is to make money. And if you have a corporation, the goal of that corporation is to earn money for those shareholders. So I'm not telling people to go out here and just create fake entities and write off a bunch of stuff. That's going to have them alphabet boys at your door. Don't do that. But what you can do is start to think about maybe some of those passions that you were prioritizing improperly at the earlier step. Maybe what are those things that I can say, hey, this might actually be a vehicle or for an outlet for me to earn and make money on the side, especially now. Job market is quite uncertain. A lot of people are taking that entrepreneurial path. And so how do we do it the right way? Make sure you got accounting system set up. There's easy apps out there. There's plenty of stuff you can get. You don't got to get something super robust like a QuickBooks that might be more expensive. There's apps out there that you can get like a Wave Accounting and some other ones that you can sign up for that are like $8 a month or something like that for you to get, snap your receipts, upload your stuff, keep your bookkeeping clean. The important thing again is to acknowledge I'm in this relationship, set up the business entity that makes sense, start to take those everyday costs and convert them into legitimate business expenses to lower your tax burden. One last bonus thing that I did want to leave you all with is partner risk. And what I mean by this is your personal social circle. Taking a minute to kind of really look around and assess the people that you got around you. If you have people who are, not producers, but are consumers, and they are actually fine with going out all the time, overspending, spending money that they don't have, fighting over the bill, knowing they shouldn't have been out there in the first place. If you got all of that around, you might want to take a look and reassess the people you have around you. You want people moving in the same direction as you, on that same grind, reinforcing, your future vision and helping you uplift and work and move and push towards it. So that might mean there's some long-standing relationships you might have to move away from. And that's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you don't have to be friends with these people anymore. What it just means is you might need to have some space, get some distance, go ghost a little bit, get low for a little while until you can get your situation in line, right, with where you want it. And your social circle, you'll see naturally start to shift and to change to be people who are actually pushing you towards those things as well. So I wanted to leave you with that little bit of a bonus tip as well. Do that personal audit. Look at those, people, top 5 individuals you spend most of your time with, and really assess, like, do I really need to be around this person as long as I am around them on an average basis? You might be surprised by some of the people. You might have people in your circle you need to spend more time with, and definitely some that you might need to step away from a little bit. But that's one little last piece I wanted to leave you guys. And ultimately, as we conclude here, right, with our 5 tips, again, number 1, we gotta automate. We have to automate things and figure out where the money is going automatically. Number 2, of course, dealing with the velocity problem, right? How do we take our spending and use it as the superpower that it actually is, instead of using it, having to be a tool and a weapon that's used against us? Number 3, realigning our passions, getting the right priorities on things, cutting out everything else that doesn't matter as much. Focus on the 1 or 2 things that really make you happy, and then get very serious about changing the narrative on the other situations. Number 4, we have to get the money active and moving and working for us. We got to get into a season of multiplication and get away from a season of hoarding. And of course, number 5, acknowledging you are not a silent partner with the government. There is a real relationship here that you need to be taken advantage of. Else, they're going to be taking advantage of you. This debt number, average American carrying $6,715, it's a warning light to all of us. But it does not have to be your story. It definitely isn't mine. And so we need to take these steps and much more to figure it out. Take this moment serious. You can choose to ignore it if you want. Of course, you keep going out there, spinning it, swiping it. You can keep going out there doing it. But I guarantee you, where you land at the end of this thing is most likely going to be a place you do not want to be. Get around a group of people who are trying to grind with you. Check out the Skeleton Crew again, link down in the description. And if you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you do not miss another video. Get more like this and others as we figure out better ways, different ways to really automate our wealth systems and improve, getting us closer to that future vision that we have, thinking more like a strategist. How do we use the things in front of us to get us to where we want to go? Again, I'm Julian Scott. This has been Supply Demand. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.